I loves me some 1 degree of chunky pea.
Hello, everybody. What a great day it is to be in Idyllwild, California, the mountain region outside of Los Angeles. And it is a gorgeous Sunday afternoon. We happen to be on a road trip, ladies and gentlemen. Say hello to the man, yes, not the myth, but the legend, right here. Say hello to Travis Spencer. Da-da-da-da. The Wizard of the Knobs. I am live and kicking in his apartment in Ottawa. And I want to let you know I finally got the visual here in person to see why he left the beautiful, non-congestive Los Angeles. He found a piece of peace, it's safe to say, don't you think?
Had to breathe again without brake dust in my fucking lungs, Chunky. Yeah. I could breathe again, so I started smoking again instead.
There you go. Yeah. There you go. Just to even it out.
So clean.
You don't want to shock the system.
Yeah.
How long you been out here? I know you went to where'd you go? The desert.
Joshua Tree first. Left beautiful Los Angeles for Joshua Tree, where it's all sunsets, beautiful stars, amazing, but it's much better up here. I gotta say, I've always been at my heart. I'm a mountain man, my friend.
Really?
Look at this facial hair. It's.
I know. I did notice. I haven't even counted
like
yet.
8 or 9 months.
Is it really?
Probably at least 2 months. It's absurd. I can't. But at my heart, I'm a mountain man. I'm not saying my facial hair quite fits in with the community.
There was one major thing. You needed space to write.
Absolutely, yep.
And is there enough space provided here in this beautiful community for you to?
It's been good. It's been good. Joshua Tree was good, but here I feel at comfort and at peace. And you know what, Chunky? I just put up my 2 first chapters of my novel on my website.
Really?
86 Charles. You go to 86charles.com, you click on the writings link. Guess what? You can read the first 2 chapters of my novel entitled Sky Island.
Ooh. Can you tell us what?
You know what a sky island is, Chunky?
Negative.
It's like when you have an ecosystem that's different on a mountain as opposed to the surrounding area. So it's like here, especially, is a sky island,
right? Where
you leave the desert, snakes and heathens, and you come up to this beautiful. There's bears and stuff up here. There's no bears around. Right. So it's just basically, which most mountains are, really, when you think about it.
Is a sky.
Yeah, it's a different ecosystem than at the base and the surrounding area.
Got it. Thank you for that wisdom and education. But I do want to know, can you give us a storyline? Can you tell us, is it based on a true story? Is it pornographic? Is it?
It's got a little pornographic, some pornographic passages, I guess. So basically it's 3 first-person narratives kind of running together. So it's a former NFL player. Lots of head injuries, had some issues.
Really?
Depression, alcohol, drugs, loses his wife, gets really deep, and has these visions post-playing days after his wife is dead that she's still around on the mountain. He lives in a cabin in a mountain town, and he feels that her energy is still there, and she's trying to speak to him through dreams that there's a way for their energy to be released together. Like there's some blockage on this mountain. Okay, that's what we'll say. So but his family, his daughter especially, thinks that he's a nut job. Doesn't believe a thing he says. So he ends up dying. He's prophesizing that 10 years after his death, or sometime in the next 10, 15 years after his death, somebody's going to come to the mountain and stay in his cabin. So he leaves a will to his granddaughter that make sure that she's renovating, has the cabin ready for winter stay and all this, like the stuff that he's been working on as a carpenter to his house or to the cabin so that somebody can stay there during winter.
Okay.
So those are the first 2 narratives, right? Like his story, she finds all of his papers that he had written and his madness and whatever. She starts writing a story based on those and then runs into the 3rd story, which is she comes back to the cabin and somebody had actually stayed in the cabin for 3 months, left his own story. So she's piecing it together, and maybe grandpa's not so crazy after all.
Wow.
So we're working on a couple different levels. Got a lot of psychedelic journeys and different things going on.
I was going to say, how does this come to your mind? How does the storyline stem from? Where's the foundation of this creativity?
A lot of different places. It started with my own experience from So the traveler, the grandfather calls him the passenger in the night, who's going to come to this cabin and free a portal. Because I don't know if you know this, but it's based on Mount Graham in eastern Arizona. Mount Graham's this cool, awesome mountain, kind of secluded, a sky island, but it was a sacred mountain to the natives.
Okay.
And so in about late 80s, early 90s, they started building a telescope up there. And the first telescope was owned by the Vatican. The Vatican has a telescope in Arizona.
Really?
Yeah. So it's kind of centered around this kind of conspiratorial nonsense crap. I don't know how much I believe it, but there's grounds there. There's been books been written that the Vatican and the U.S. government, John McCain especially, got involved in reserving this area. It's the Red Squirrel Reserve. Have you ever heard of a squirrel being an endangered species? Fucking squirrels are everywhere.
Right. Yeah.
Goddamn everywhere. Squirrels fuck like crazy. They spit out more squirrels. Like
Right.
an endangered squirrel, Chunky.
Is that what they said? Is that what they're claiming?
Yeah, it's the red squirrel in Mount Graham. So they have an enclosed area where it's like a protected area. Oh, and that allowed them to. My politics are probably off a little bit on this, but that allowed them to take control of the area and build
What they want.
telescopes on it. So now there's 3 telescopes on it.
Well, is that just what they're saying? I mean, there could be anything on it now, right?
Right.
I mean-
Well, and it's because it's a squirrel reserve. Like, you can't just drive up there and be
Right.
like, "Hey, can I check out the telescope?"
Is
No,
there
you have to
security
get-
at the front?
Oh, absolutely. It's fenced off. Like, who knows?
How big
the
of an
Vatican
area, do you
might
know?
be harboring a blockage to the rest of the world, to the energetic universe, as my character Odie might say. Odie the Destroyer, that's his name.
Wow.
His football name, at least.
So you're merging this true fact into your storyline.
Yeah, weaving a little facts in here. And then
Right.
a lot of the main character, James, is his name. He has stories that I've written since I was 18, kind of thing. Like, and I've kind of weaved in different experiences. Like my first big California massive party was at Cypress Hills Smokeout in 2001. And I took 2 hits of California Sunshine Liquid Acid and lost my fucking mind.
Did you really?
Oh man, I thought that the rapper on stage was kicking me out. I thought he was about to end the whole concert because of me. And I was like, what the fuck?
Was it the
is
first
going
time
on?
you've dosed?
I'd done acid before, but never with 60,000 people around me.
Oh my God.
It's not a good idea. I don't advise taking high levels of psychedelic drugs with a lot of people around.
No.
Stay by yourself, be close to nature, be with loved ones.
Right.
60,000 people, it's too much. Too much.
For an inexperienced person, but sometimes, not saying that, I know some people that have taken acid
Of course-
and enjoyed
of
a large
course
amount.
not you, Chunky.
Not me.
Yeah, no, but I've had both experiences. It's like that one, it was just too much at the wrong time.
Yeah.
And my take on it since, I've done some comedy bit about it as well, where it's like, I thought I was black until then, like, because I liked hip hop and I was cool. And then,
Right.
Suddenly
You were not.
I'm just a little white kid wearing a polo and I got little earrings in. And, it's like, nope, you're not what you thought you were.
Wow. And did the experience, I know that's not what the topic is, but that experience with the acid, did it go on for too long of a time? Well, it was probably too long of a time, but was it a multi-day thing?
No, it was just there. But within the trip itself, I had like a flashback where I got to a point where I thought everything was wearing off and I thought I was getting better. And then like we started going towards one of the stages and I was like, no, if we go to that stage, I was in a flashback of a cycle inside my own trip where I thought that it was all going to trigger again so I thought I was living in the future and it was about to happen again. So I had a second freak out, not as bad as the first, but I found like a quiet, dark place with like thumping techno music, and that eased me off my edge.
Would you say that if somebody walked by you, they'd be like, "Oh, well, dude, that's having a bad trip"?
Oh no, they're like, that dude's
You didn't
fucked
make a
up.
scene, I'm saying.
No,
Okay.
never. At the point when I was like running away from the stage when I thought I was getting kicked out, I remember I took off my polo shirt and I just had an undershirt off and I ripped out my earrings and I threw them to the ground. So it was like, and I kind of just sat down and like looked down at the ground and was like, as people were passing me, because I had assumed that the whole concert had ended because of me and they all wanted to murder me. Everybody there. I was assuming that 55,000 people walking by all wanted me dead because I had just ended this great concert that everybody spent $300 for tickets or
Right.
whatever, So it's like, that. But
What
looking
gives
back,
you the ego to even with that you had that kind of power?
18-year-old Travis was on top of the world, my friend. It's all slowly
or the bottom, depending.
It's all slowly been falling apart since then.
You were top. I peaked at 18.
It was it. That was it. I was on top of the world. Like I got a massive concert ended just by my pure presence alone.
That's funny.
Yeah. So that's one of the stories of. And so the character he also had a massive head injury as a child, like playing baseball, got hit in the back of the head. So he lives in this space where he has near-death experiences, out-of-body experiences, can't play football anymore. Ends up getting into marijuana and drugs and is trying to figure out what that other world is. So it's kind of like I'm weaving between reality and madness or the underworld, whatever you want to call it, throughout different traditions.
Right.
And then bringing them all together with the 3 different narratives, trying to tie it all together.
Okay, well, if you're just tuning in, ladies and gentlemen, 1 Degree of Chunky B, and I took a road trip to go visit the Wiz, the Wizard of the Knobs, Travis Spencer, and we're just going over, like I told you, we were on a little bit of a technical hiatus due to computer issues. So if the Wiz can't come to you, you go to the Wiz.
That's it.
And we're the first couple of minutes, we're talking about his new novel, the reason why he chose to find more space, physically, spiritually, and emotionally. And he found it, and he's grooving, and he's talking about his first couple bits about his book, Sky Island. And we don't know when it's going to be out, but at least we know we're the first part of the audience that are scratching the surface of this journey / novel. But I want to get back to the Vatican with a with a telescope. Now, you're always on the top of conspiracy theories, parallel universe.
Let me stop you right there. Flat Earth is bullshit. Continue.
We did, and he's making a reference. The Wiz is making a reference to. We've had some. Our friend Andrew, who's a friend of the show, came in and really truly believes that the Earth is flat. But let me ask you this: some of his thoughts. Lizard people.
Lizard people, possibly in the context that there is a whole race of electromagnetic beings that we can't see, but they're not physical entities like you and I, if that exists. Like, my favorite way to look at it is if you put your hands out from left to right, that's the electromagnetic scale of energy and light, essentially, in the universe as we understand it. And all we can understand and see as human beings is the distance of your fingernail of that whole time. So honestly, anything can be happening. And you look into physics and stuff like that, and you get into string theory and all these different things. Like, there could be lizard people, but that's just like,
I could be one.
You could be a lizard person. No, I don't think they're physical beings if they do exist.
Well, no, there's some people out there. If you look at this up, it says Queen Elizabeth, Beyonce.
Right.
I mean, they're out there.
Have you seen the videos like where they're like, "Oh, Obama is a lizard person," because like it's a video, the video is screwed up, so they assume that it's not assuming. It's just it's a basic internet premise where you find the littlest thing and you run with it and call them lizard people.
Yeah. Well, I was going through some old photos and some videos just the other night, and I was just fast forwarding and stopping, and there was one still. I mean, a video I stopped, freeze frame. And it did. One eye wasn't caught up with the other eye, and it looked a little glassy.
Right.
It was like a lizard. I was looking in 2 different directions. I'm like, fuck. It could happen technically on the video, or am I really a lizard person?
I'm going to go ahead and say it's the video.
Technical.
Yeah.
What lately have you been thinking of that you truly believe, but the rest of the population, society, frowns upon it?
Donald Trump is our Lord and Savior. No, just kidding.
Wow. That, yeah.
Woo.
But,
yeah. Who, you know what? I went, when I was doing my podcast of Podcalyptic Times, I got really deep into conspiracy theory, listening to like Coast to Coast AM every night.
Yeah.
And just delving as deep. And there is definitely room, and it is very true that conspiracies do exist. You look at like Project Northwoods and different things that the government has done, and like the Contra Iran thing where literally the FBI was, or CIA, I don't know, my facts are all screwy, but they were bringing drugs into LA and distributing it and making money. They were selling drugs. And it's not the government as a whole, it's a couple bad seeds.
Sure.
But conspiracies definitely do happen. I believe in 100%. If there's one mega grand conspiracy that the reptilian lizard people are running the world, that's probably going a little bit far.
Right.
You know, it's like even it's very reasonable to think that people with a lot of money want to keep a lot of their money. And so if they have power through media and different agendas, maybe they're smart enough to do social control things. But I don't know. It's like I seem to always think that you can't give people enough credit to have these mega grand conspiracies. Does that make
There's
sense?
people, yeah, I get you, but there's people that are saying that they run, you know, the big corporations, all the money, they run the politics, and there's people that they know years in advance who the president's going to be.
Right.
So did they sit around a table 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 3 years ago and say, you know something, let's just fuck with everybody and get Trump in? How does that happen?
You're asking the wrong person, my friend.
What kind of group of people sit at a table go, you know something, we got the black guy in.
Right.
Okay? And now we got everybody off our ass for that.
That one made sense, right? If you're gonna walk people along for social control, wouldn't it be a woman next? I mean, maybe that's the whole thing. Maybe that's why he's our Lord and Savior, is because he put an end to the systematic. But it's bullshit. It's bullshit. It's all bullshit.
It's all bullshit. But which category of bullshit are you talking about now? With, you know, the woman supposed to, you know, Clinton was supposed to be in, and
right. That would have been the next step up in the globalist agenda, if you want to believe that Alex Jones type of rhetoric, right? But so, and his thing would be that Donald Trump is an alpha male who's ran businesses and it was actually won the popular vote because he knew what he was doing.
Not the popular vote.
Or he won the election because he played the game right.
Right.
You know. But even like now, some of those alt-right guys are turning on Trump because he's listening to his daughter and Jared Kushner, who are apparently a part of the globalist agenda. And the fake news thing is bizarre. Like that's.
What are your thoughts about that? Break that down.
Where do you even begin? It's so strange. It's like, it makes me think. I don't know what to believe, because I believe that news organizations do have agendas. And even New York Times said after Trump got elected that they needed to focus 100% on being fair and balanced or something along those lines. And I was like, wait, aren't you the New York fucking Times? Shouldn't you have always been that way? Oh, now that Trump's back in you're gonna swing back right a little bit and give him a chance? Like, wait, so it was propaganda from the first place? Like, it's such a mind fuck when you think about it. And I mean, I can't even watch news. Do you actually watch news?
I do watch it, but I don't let it soak in, because I hate to have this individual, you know, attitude about it, but I know that I can't do anything. What I'm saying is,
It's
I'm
pointless
taking
to
the
get
road
wrapped
of
up in it
blissness.
and get angry about it. 'Cause
What's it gonna do?
Right.
You know, this whole Trump thing, and people, you know, on 1 Degree of Chunky B, and they're getting back to me like, well, you know, some of your guests are all fired up and pissed off about Trump. I'm like, I'm not happy about it, but I'm not going to get my panties in a knot because,
what does it achieve?
Right.
You know, unless you're actually going, this has been my thing with politics for a long time. And I will tell you today, and I've been saying it for the last however long, I will never vote for a Republican or a Democrat ever again.
Right.
If we get a third party and maybe but I think that fundamentally at this point, both parties are so corrupt and so flawed, and there's so much bullshit involved that I feel better as a human being by being outside of that. Like, everybody says that Trump was worse than Hillary, right? But she was a fucking monster too. Like, look, the Clintons have a long tradition, depending on where you want to believe. Yes, he might have been better than her, but when you're comparing an asshole
like the best evil
to an asshole, it's like the lesser of two evils is always a thing, right? Where do we get off on that?
Yeah, well, you know something, does it bother you? I mean, getting away here, getting away out to the mountains. So you're not dealing with the day-to-day hubbub, but you've got your finger on the pulse of what's shaking.
Right. Well, you don't need to live in a city to know what's going on.
Right.
You have the internet.
Right.
Now,
I got you. But do you find yourself, if things get worse, like actually leaving the country?
No, I'm in a mountain. Like, give me a couple guns. Good luck.
Right.
What are you going to do? Climb the mountain? I'm way better at climbing mountains than you motherfuckers.
All right.
You can't hide at the beach. It's flat. It's
right.
I do miss the beach. I need to go there more often.
Yes, you do. But, okay, so it's not anything so extreme that you're so pissed off you can't handle it. I'm going to Costa Rica.
No, and you know what's been great about it is people up in arms checking his bullshit. It's like, honestly, I felt if Hillary did get elected, all the people who were up in arms and were really getting involved would have just laid down for the next 8 years, and she could have done whatever the hell she wanted. What is disappointing, though, is like the numbers that the last vote in L.A., nobody came out to vote. Like, everybody's so worried about this presidential bullshit that may or may not affect you, like other than seeing news every day, top 5 stories, Trump. Like, but people aren't even going to the local elections. You have to start locally if you want to change anything. And we are blessed in California. It's amazing here. It's like there's obviously plenty of flaws with it, but I'm not worried about Trump coming in and changing anything here. Do you think the California politicians or any of the people are going to allow that?
Right.
I mean, it'd be nice to get some infrastructure, help us out with some roads and shit, but I guess if we have sanctuary cities, we're not going to get that money.
When you said people were checking on Trump's bullshit, like the facts, like when he would say something and it would be so, like I had the most people ever at my, opening day, in D.C.
Oh yeah, complete bullshit. Yeah. Right. And even he said there was one of his weird press conferences where he said something along the lines that he had the biggest landslide electorally or whatever, and then he got checked immediately by a reporter, and he's like, oh, I meant Republicans, and then he got checked again. He's like, oh no, George W. Bush did, or George H.
But he's like a president, like, don't buy into my facts. When I say, just go along with the
Isn't
hype.
that just mind-blowing?
Yeah.
It's like the leader, it's like, it's such a bad precedent for anybody that's really gonna buy it and be like, well, fuck it, I don't know what I'm saying, but I'm just going to keep saying it.
But he's got that old school theory or that vibe about him that you can bullshit in a story as you're talking and not realizing that you could be checked right then. So that's why, bullshit is decreased in, like, for example, if you and I are talking and I'm like, oh God, yeah, the Dodgers lost yesterday. You can actually go on right there.
Right.
Like, no, Chunky, you're wrong.
Yeah. So, well, he's 70 fucking years old.
Right.
Like,
That's what
he's
I'm
an
saying.
old man. He looks actually really great, and he looks like it's still early on, but even like Obama by the first year was starting to gray a lot, and he was a young, like 55, right? Trump, like, he seems to be like built for this. I don't know. But it's probably because he's just golfs all the time. That's all he does, right? He's in Florida. Like, I do appreciate that as much money as it's costing the American, like, for him to just come in and just be like, I don't give a fuck. My wife's living in New York. She's going to do there. Yep, I guess you're going to need Secret Service. My kids are going to fly all over the world. Like, he really came in like a guy that doesn't give a shit. And I can respect that on a level. But tax-wise, it's like, what are you going to do, though? You're going to tell the president that his wife can't live in New York?
Right.
Is that right? Oh, you have to live in the White House now? Like, because there's petitions going off that people want to do that. I don't know what's right. I kind of like it that he comes in and says, well, I'm the president. I'm going to do whatever I want.
There's a ballsy vibe about it. But I want to do a documentary and tell me what you think on what I think a position that a lot of people are not putting in the forefront. I truly believe that there should be a documentary on the pressure, the anxiety, the day-to-day operations of his hairdo girl. His hair girl. I'm not even sure if it's a girl or a guy.
Think they're like, they probably got to go in with like surgical tools and like fuse things back together and try to get it like, oh, we got it. Hold on, we lost one.
Right.
Let's wrap it over. Oh no.
I would love to see Trump just getting out of the shower. I'm not saying it's a toupee or anything like that. That's his hairdo. But what is the process?
Wait. Hold on, let's go back.
A shower?
You want to see Trump?
I would love to see Trump in the shower.
I want to see the executive office.
How weird would that do? because that dude is going like like 2 or 3 seriously different directions, and then coming back. Yeah, it
If you've
looks like,
ever made an argument for a reptilian, that's it. Reptilian hairdo.
yeah. All right, here's the thing: if you had one person that was dead, in all of time, and you had 24 hours to hang out with this dead person, who would it be? Now, I want you to think about that for a second, and I'm going to just set it up a little bit. It could be something that it could be a grandparent, or do you go with what's better for the human race? Can I bring like a Shakespeare back? And can I just, and I just get to hang with him, and then maybe I get to, put him on Jimmy Kimmel. Me and, if I go up to Kimmel, hey, listen, I got fucking Billy Shakes coming in town for 24 hours.
Oh, Billy Shakes can make it.
Yeah, I'll give him an hour on your spot, on your show. Or do you just like...
It's easy. It's easy.
Who?
Jesus.
Oh.
Because essentially you're going to find out he's just a regular dude.
With a good PR guy?
Great, like curly Jew hair.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, totally. Like, that's going to change everything. Maybe could start some wars, but like, let's get the real, actually talk to Jesus.
Could you imagine?
Oh, man.
And going up to the Pope? Dude, you're taking this shit way serious.
Yeah.
Way too serious.
Well, I mean, it's always the second guy in command that fucks everything up. It's like, Jesus did great, and it's everybody after him. They're like, oh, Jesus was amazing. You remember Jesus?
Jesus.
Yeah, he walked on fucking water.
Yeah.
No, he didn't. That's bullshit.
Yeah, dude, I almost drowned that day. Could you imagine? And the fish thing? I didn't turn that the wine into water. No, I
It was already wine.
I was bleeding. I had a nosebleed because I was partying all night the night before.
This is what I'm saying.
The blood dripped into my water.
We get a couple drinks with Jesus. We're hanging out on Jimmy Kimmel.
Man.
Like, we get him to open up. Everybody's like, you know what? This is kind of bullshit. Oh, man. Although it would just start a whole new sect of hatred. So I don't know. Who knows?
But there would be some people going, what am I, wasting a lot of time.
Yeah.
Either not going or believing it, Yeah. Wow. And I thought about that question, and I never really thought about Jesus. I need Jesus more in my life. Jesus Christ. Okay. If the world was listening, what would you say?
If you go to 86charles.com,
Yes.
you can go ahead and read the first 2 chapters of my book, Sky Island. And while you're there, you can click on the Amazon link before you do your Amazon purchases, and I'll get a little kickback. There you go. That's what I would tell the world.
Okay. So, world, I know you're listening. Go to 86charles.com.
That's correct.
Go over to the Amazon. Go over to donate.
Not donate. You click on the button, then you do your Amazon shopping as normal.
Right.
And I get a little kickback.
Oh, okay. You want them to shop.
Yeah, we tried to set it up for you,
Yeah,
but
I
you
know.
can't. And you don't know how to enter your tax information or something.
Yeah. I'm not ready for that. What about if there's a page that you just tap on and it comes in what you want to send? How about here's a $5, $10, $15, and just send it right to your PayPal.
Well, we've got a donate button on chunkyb.tv.
We do indeed.
So if you want to donate, go to chunkyb.tv, and if you want to do Amazon shopping and get something for yourself because you're selfish like me, I'll get a little bit out of that.
Yeah.
But if you want to donate, because Chunky's in the space where he's being more of a philanthropist and a humanitarian, and he's helping people out. So if you
That's
want
nice
to
of
give
you to
back,
say.
donate.
Yeah.
See me, I'm still a greedy old piece of shit.
No, I disagree. What do you say we round third, head for home on this? In closing, I love you. You're an awesome individual.
Good to see you. It's been too long.
Thanks for the invite. And wow, I just mentioned it to you. Then 2 days later, yeah. And
I'm glad you made it. You're going to have to stay at the inn.
Yeah, this is crazy. This is crazy. You don't want to plug that.
No.
Okay. But I do want to ask you in closing, will you have me back?
Of course. Anytime you want. Come
Okay.
up.
And what about, can we set up some kind of Skype situation? Maybe, when I'm podcasting in the Garage of Love, dial you in here?
Yeah,
if
I
you're
think that's possible. It's just technical setup, getting it right.
Yeah,
know, I've done Skype for audio before. Skype for video can be a little bit shady, but if you're Computers are good on both ends. You're fine.
Right on.
Good internet connections.
Ladies and gentlemen, 1 degree of Chunky B, not in the garage of love, but on the mountain of kindness. Idyllwild. We're going to go have some lunch and knick-knack paddywhacks. The Wizard of the Knobs, Travis Spencer, I thank you with all my heart.
Chunky, thank you so much. It's been an honor. It's good to see you. It's been way too long. And I'm really happy for you, man. You seem to be doing really well.
I am at peace with whatever the next adventure is. We are DONE. 1 degree, Chunky B.